Alright, I am back with a new Destiny 2 video. This is one that I usually make kind of midway through the season once we at least have the vast majority of weapons out for the season, and I've kind of gotten to play around with them enough or get enough god rolls where I can sort of pick out my favorites. I don't know if I can declare empirically that these are the absolute best weapons this season. These are just kind of the ones that I like the most. I thought I would go through the ones that I'm using in some activity or another on all my different characters, and you can see if they line up with any of your own picks or if you think they're things that you want to go for yourself. We will start with my Warlock here, who's still in his Trials stag get up here. I already made an entirely separate video about Servant Leader because this is proven to be one of my favorite weapons in kind of all of Destiny 2, just in terms of how it feels. Especially in PvE. I cannot make it work really in PvP for some reason. I don't know, it doesn't feel as good for me there. I have seen some people using it, especially on this map this week in Trials, but for me personally, like, this is just one of my favorite feeling guns in the game, and it can roll with a lot of really great rolls, like pretty much every damage perk in the game. I have a surplus roll, but you can get Subsistence, and I think Outlaw, and a bunch of other ones, and it's just been one of my absolute favorites. You can reference my video I made, I think it was last week, if you wanted to get a full 10-minute video of me raving about this, but I think I've said a good amount about it. In terms of other weapons this season, so this is interesting. This is the VULPECULA, I don't know how to pronounce it. This is one of the seasonal weapons, a new stasis hand cannon. This weapon has been deeply frustrating to me because I really like it, and yet the rolls that I want two rolls. I want Outlaw explosive rounds, and I want Outlaw headstone. And I have used pretty much every single focus since season launch to try and get that, but I have not gotten it yet. So I remain, I have some good rolls. Like, obviously this is a pretty good roll for this, but this feels great as a 180. 180 is my favorite archetype of hand cannon, and I really think this could be a fun thing to run with headstone. I do have like Killing Wind headstone, which is okay. This is obviously for PvE. I don't really use hand cannons in PvP. I know that's very off meta, but I don't think this is like a big PvP hand cannon in the first place. But I have liked this gun. I just cannot get the roll I want to save my life on it, which is very unfortunate, but here we are. I do want to highlight Cartesian coordinate, which obviously this is not a new gun. This has been in the loot pool, the world loot pool, since Chosen, and yet it is one of only 3 rapid fire fusion rifles in the game. The other one is, I think it's Zealot's Reward from the raid, and Null Composure, which is the ritual weapon. And yet this one is proven to be one of my favorites. This roll is one I've been using a lot, Swashbuckler, Feeding Frenzy. It just feels really great. In PvE especially. I do have one with Vorpal somewhere where this does surprisingly great champion and boss damage with the other seasonal fusion mods and the recent buffs. I have a PvP version of this too, Under Pressure, High Impact, that I only just started using, but this is a pretty good roll for that. Yeah, impact damage. So this is also something you can use in PvP. So even though this is not a new seasonal weapon, this is one that I've liked quite a bit. This is the main ingredient I just bought from, I'm getting Bungie friend requests as we speak. This is the main ingredient I got from Xur, which is a good PvP roll. I only used it a little bit. This is Contingency Plan. This is kind of an alternative to Servant Leader and a new world drop weapon. It's the old Dead Orbit Weist. It is a rapid fire rifle with a better zoom than Servant Leader. It doesn't feel quite as good if you ask me, and yet it still feels very good in general. So if you don't have a good Servant Leader, this is probably one that you may get more drops of if you just turn in stuff to Banshee. I've enjoyed using this as well. Ascendancy just got buffed, so this is actually supposed to be one of the best DPS options in the game now, I think, because Explosive Light got a 25% buff. I haven't really done a ton of experimenting with this yet, is using it as my primary PvE boss burner or whatever, but I have enjoyed using it so far. I like the intrinsic tracking, and these are all really great perks for this, with impact casing and everything. So with this buff, this seems like this will be a pretty good option to have for a long time to come. And nope, we got Reed's Regret. So This is the new Trials Linear Fusion. I have gotten 2 triple tap Vorpals now, thankfully. This is the one I masterworked, and this is a great PvE option, especially in this season with the stacking fusion rifle damage and all the other bonuses given to linear fusions. Linear fusions in general have been extremely good this season, and this is one of the best options you can have. I also have Threaded Needle, which has Vorpal. I have a Rapid Hit, I have an auto-loading one. This is something I farmed back in Chosen, and obviously this is a kind of extremely meta PvE weapon right now, given how good it is. There are not many linear fusions that can roll with Vorpal, so it's just pretty much this and Read Regret, I think, unless I'm forgetting something. And so those are my picks on my Warlock that I have handy. So now I will switch to Titan to see what I'm using there. I always just am dumping gear around between different characters. So, oh, I got my cool Trials loadout here. Okay, so, alright, so I have Peace Bond on here. Peace Bond, one of my favorite weapons they've introduced in a very, very long time. My favorite sidearm, absolutely, since... oh no, I'm forgetting the name of it. What am I thinking? The Dawn one that I always rave about. I am drawing a blank. I can't believe I forgot it, but that was one of my all-time favorites, and this is a new favorite. This is the true Vanguard role of Rangefinder Swashbuckler, which has done wonders for me in PvP. If you know me and my PvP skills, 200 kills on any Crucible weapon in a single season, much less this early into the season, is a lot. So this has done wonders for me, and I really love it. I'm trying to farm a Headstone role for PvP, as I think that would be a lot of fun on like a Hunter Stasis build, but this one has been working wonders for me in pretty much all modes. My favorite thing was dueling with this thing in the Stag and a Stag Rift, where you can just burn down absolutely everything because you're so tanky, and this is such a good dueling weapon at baseline. I did masterwork a Fractalist. This is just not very good for... I had a whole shotgun build where I had really fast reload that made dual loader really fast, but this has better PvP rolls than it does PvE rolls, and I don't know, it's not my favorite. I think there are better shotgun options. Personally, this is my old Adept Messenger, so this is the SHAYURA'S I got this season. This is obviously not new, this is just new to me. I have Killing Wind, Elemental Capacitor, which, depending on your subclass, makes... You know, the range is nutty, the reload speed on this is nutty right now. It's just done really good for me since I got it. I've only had this for a week, but it's obviously pretty fantastic. And besides that, I have a couple of these, Tunnel Vision, Kill Clip, stuff like that. This is a good roll of Sorrow's Verse. I think autos are not in the best spot right now, but I think Heating Up Rampage is about the best you can get on this. But a 600 RPM auto rifle these days is not the best, so I have not really been using it a ton. I mean, do we even need to talk about MYTHOCLAST in this current meta, in this current state? It is absurd. Allegedly, I am trying to do a Catalyst run later today to make it even more insane and to generate orbs, but obviously that was last season, but the buffs to it this season have made it the most meta weapon in PvE and PvP, which is kind of crazy to see, and you really just can't get much better than that. Besides this, I really like this Canis Major Impulse Amplifier with Chain Reaction. This is just a lot of fun so mini frags and also Linear Compensator and Velocity. You can just spam clear ads with this in a really fun way. There are boss builds for this where you can get spike grenades and Vorpal and stuff, but I really like this as kind of a clearing grenade launcher. I've had a lot of fun doing that, so... I don't really have a good hothead. I farm just a couple of these. I'm trying to get a Soulless Scar with Chain Reaction because I never got that before. 1,000 Voices is pretty meta now, given the Fusion Rifle stacking buffs you can get to it, so this is a very solid option for boss damage. I don't know if that's going to last past this season once the Fusion Rifle mods go away, and yet it can be good in a lot of circumstances now. This is the other Threaded Needle auto-loading Vorpal, so... I've been using that on a lot of content lately. And I have my Zealot's Reward. This is the only Zealot's Reward I have, Feeding Frenzy Backup Plan, which is not the best, but I was just kind of playing around with it given the current meta. So we will switch to my final character. I don't think I have anything kind of lingering in the vault that's a favorite, because favorites usually do not go in the vault. Aegir's Scepter. This thing is hilarious. I love it. It's just a blast. compared to the other stasis weapons, like how utterly horrible they have been, this is kind of exactly what you want to see out of a stasis weapon in terms of it is a blast in PvE and it does almost nothing in PvP, so it doesn't ruin that mode. This is just a really fun weapon to use, and I'm looking forward to the Catalyst, which launches next week, to make it even crazier. As you can see, here are all my VULPECULAs that have headstone in different ways and do not have outlaw. So, so IOTA DRACONIS. So I wasn't sure how high impact fusions were going to feel in the wake of the kind of nerfs because they have such high charge time now. I really enjoyed this one though. This is a surplus Harmony roll. Harmony is pretty absurd on things like shotguns and fusion rifles because you're always killing things with your primary and then switching to it for a big damage boost. One thing I've noticed about this, I could be wrong about this, I think like Fallout or someone will need to test this, but Liquid Coil's slower charge time for increased impact damage. This has always been a good perk, but with the changes to charge time, it doesn't go above 1,000. So you're essentially just getting more impact damage for no increased charge time, as far as I can tell. So that's really good. I have a few different rolls of this. I have a Frenzy, Feeding Frenzy one that is a little more expedient and quick and fun. I don't know about LORENTZ Driver. This is the other major exotic from the season. Obviously, it is very good in PvP situationally if you can hit your shots, which I usually cannot. It is definitely worthwhile in a lot of ways in PvE as well. I don't like the mechanic, the 3 telemetry pattern mechanic. That to me does not feel good. I think it's a little too much to keep track of, and I never find myself like seeking those out to buff the damage of it. I just sort of use it for headshots and the AoE blast. So that conceptually doesn't really do it for me. So this isn't really kind of my favorite weapon, even though I think it does have its uses. This is a pretty good Cryosium Mela. The range on this thing is crazy, but again, I don't think many autos are in a great spot right now, so I haven't really been loving this. The WOLFTONE draw, I don't know. This is an interesting role where it draws slower, but then this increases draw time. I don't know. I kind of want another kinetic bow. I'm kind of tired of elemental bows. I have not gotten really any good rolls of the new sidearm. I think there's just much better sidearms than the playlist one. But we will have Darkest Before. Darkest Before is one of the new weapons that has been added to the Prophecy pool, pulling from the Trials of the Nine era of Destiny, where those all had fixed rolls. Now they have random rolls. This is the only one I've gotten, and it's Surplus Wellspring, which is a pretty good PvP roll. But obviously you can get actual damage perks and things like this, but this is a very, very good pulse rifle. Probably easily the best rapid fire pulse in the game. One of the best pulses, period, probably if you ask me. And I have had a lot of fun with this thing. In my vaults, I have a Far Future with like Firing Line, something that is a god roll, but I don't use snipers that much, but that is a very good one all the same. And I think that might be it for kind of my top picks for the season. Obviously, a lot of this is dependent on all of the, Season of the Fusion Rifle stuff here, where all of the mods are, particle deconstruction is just so important. And then for champion activities, Unstoppable, and then, free reloader, free targeting, it's very different. So, Cartridge Rampage, no, not good. So those are kind of my picks for the seasonal weapons, or Prophecy, or Iron Banner, or the exotics, or whatever's been added. We don't know if there are going to be more over the course of the season. I assume there's going to be at least one more exotic besides Gallarhorn. They already announced they're doing at least a couple of those anniversary weapons, so I assume those will have random rolls. And then I think we're getting a new Festival of the Lost weapon too. But in terms of kind of the ones that exist right now, these are the ones I've really been enjoying a lot, and I would be curious to hear your picks or things that you think I might be overlooking that I should use and try out. So anyway, let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time. Take care.